Sound of a tapestry rustling. Quiet footsteps. Alright, picture this. The morning of the big dragon race. The air is electric. You can practically taste the anticipation. And there's King Asmodeus, the most powerful man in the kingdom, hiding behind a giant, dusty tapestry. Why? Because he's spying on his daughter and this young hotshot Ty. Asmodeus peeks through a gap. He sees Ty, all confidence and swagger, telling the princess how beautiful she is. "Damn, my daughter," the king mutters to himself, but he's rubbing his hands together, a sly grin spreading across his face. He sees the sincerity in Ty's eyes, how his daughter is absolutely beaming, and it actually brings a tear to the king's eye. But don't get it twisted. This king isn't about to go soft. He's thinking, "You little cocky punk, you're not getting off the hook that easy. This was going to be fun." Sound of footsteps on stone, a small pebble skittering a little later. Ty and the princess are leaving the royal chambers, walking down this grand stone staircase. They're laughing, lost in their own little world. From his hiding spot, King Asmodeus, with a flick of his wrist, sends a small, perfectly aimed stone skittering across the floor. It catches Ty's heel, and wham! Down he goes, tumbling and tripping down the last few stairs. It wasn't a bad fall, more embarrassing than anything. The king has to stifle a huge belly laugh, his shoulders shaking behind the tapestry. But just as he's enjoying his little prank, his ever-loyal, ever-serious guard, Gilgamesh, appears out of nowhere. "Your Highness," Gilgamesh says, his voice booming, staring directly at the king's hiding spot. The jig is up. Ty, picking himself up, follows Gilgamesh's gaze and spots the shaking tapestry. He doesn't look angry. Instead, a slow, knowing smirk spreads across his face. He gives a little nod toward the king's hiding spot before turning and heading off with the princess to the dragon stables. The game was on. Sound of clanking armor, a soft kiss. Now we're at the stables. The air smells of leather and, well, dragon. Ty is gearing up. The king, in a show of good sportsmanship, has lent him a suit of armor. And man, it is magnificent. A shimmering, violet mystic suit that seems to pulse with its own light. Ty looks absolutely radiant, like a hero straight out of a legend. He feels incredible. What he doesn't know is that, while he was distracted, the king snuck up and used a magic stamp to brand the word loser in huge, invisible to the wearer letters right across the back. Ha 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 ha, the king thought, perfect. Just as Ty is about to mount his dragon, the princess walks up to him. She looks at him in that radiant armor, her eyes full of hope. She rises on her toes and gives him a soft kiss on the cheek for luck. Ty's face lights up. He turns to his dragon, the mighty Caligula, gives him a confident pat. And with a powerful roar, they shoot into the sky like a violet comet. Sound of roaring dragons, wind whipping, explosions up in the sky. It's absolute chaos. The race is underway, and it's more like a battle royale. King Asmodeus is in his element, a wide, manic grin on his face, He's a master flyer, knocking riders left and right, sending them spiraling out of the race. He even manages to clip his own guard, Gilgamesh, sending him plummeting safely toward the ground. The king is in a winning mood, laughing as he clears the field. He looks around. The sky is almost empty. Almost. Then, a flash of ultraviolet light streaks past him. It's Ty. He's the only one left. Intense battle music, dragon roars, clashing sounds. What followed was a duel for the ages. They twisted, they turned, they dove. Fire met lightning. Claws scraped against armored scales. It was so fierce, so incredibly intense, that the king was no longer just trying to win. He was smiling. A genuine, exhilarated smile. He looked at the boy Ty, and saw the same look on his face. That grin. Oh, that defiant, joyful grin. The king looked at that smile and thought, damn, this kid had the heart of a king. In that moment of mutual respect, of shared joy in the battle, Ty saw his opening. Boom. A perfectly executed maneuver. Ty's dragon slams into the king's, knocking Asmodeus clean off his saddle. As the king falls, protected by a safety charm, he's not angry. He's laughing. Actually, properly laughing. Well, he thinks, as the wind rushes past him, this will be fun. He watches as Ty, the boy who dared to love his daughter and challenge a king, crosses the finish line, taking the win. This time, the laughter of the king echoes across the sky, a sound not of mockery, but of pure, unadulterated fun. A new rivalry and a new respect had just been born.